Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and welcome to Season 2 of Meat for the Grinder, our series dedicated to Necromunda Dark Uprising Battle Reports. And Meat for the Grinder is a Necromunda campaign set in the final days of Hive Arcos, where Chaos, Xenos, and Order clash for control of a collapsing Hive City. And on today's episode, we will showcase our campaign's Genestealer Cult, the Red Faction. We will discuss the gang's contents, its playstyle, its inspiration, and provide other information related to our upcoming Dark Uprising campaign. So this is the gang that we played by my friend Screamo the Emo. For those of you guys who are long-term viewers of the channel, you'll remember that the very first time we did a Dominion campaign on our channel, with the new release of Necromunda, my friend Screamo the Emo and Sister Sarah were actually the two top leading contenders for their gangs to actually win that campaign. Now, unfortunately, my buddy Screamo the Emo, he lost that campaign, but he's looking for a way to claw back to the top again and to try to secure another victory for himself in this current campaign. So he'll be playing the Red Faction as a Genestealer Cult, and oddly enough, even though they are a Genestealer Cult, they are dedicated to Order, because unlike the Chaos factions, they answer to the Tyranids, and because of that, the Tyranids, if nothing else, are orderly in the way they have their command structure for their entire civilization, for their entire species. So we are starting this gang roster at 2,000 credits. We are using Aranthian Succession rules to create our rosters, and the reason why is because we will not be able to dedicate as much time to this campaign as we usually do for battle report campaigns, and the reason why is because of just life taking over and just real life things happening in our lives. So because of that, in order to help us give us a little bit more of a shoe-in to have to just for that timetable, we're gonna have a much more powerful gang, so that way we're not spending much time just trying to get resources. We start off with a lot of resources to begin with, so that way you can just go straight into the action and carry on for the rest of the campaign. So that being said, let's go and talk about the Cult Adept, which is the leader for this gang. Up first is Gyhrson Starn. He is the Cult Adept and also the leader for this gang as well. He's got a hazard suit for that 6 of armor save, as well as being immune to Radphage, as well as blaze conditions as well. He's packing a shock stave for a close combat weapon, as well as an Autopistol for self-defense. He's got photo goggles that we can see in all visibility conditions. He also has the second familiar Roar. And the reason why he has that is because he is a Wyrd archetype. He does have Wyrd powers in this. He also has the Mentor skill, so that way he can give out bonus XPs for all of his fighters to earn experience. And he's also using the Zealot ability, so that way he can increase the rerolls for hits for some of his average that he has in his gang as well. Now, Ra'ara, of course, is a second familiar. It's got Omen of Fortune as well as Precognition. It's got the Catfall as well as the Clamber skill as well. That way they can kind of also protect this fighter from being shot at. All he has to do is take a passive willpower test and he can avoid being hit, which is always a good thing for this character. Up next is the hybrid Acoltye Hollun, the Shipbreaker. He's one of the one of the champions that are in this gang. He's got a hazard suit as well as a heavy stubber, as well as an Autopistol and photo goggles. He does have an extra arm, so that way he has additional close combat attack, and also they can maneuver this weapon kind of like a suspensor. And at the same time, also the Nerves of Steel skill, so that way if he gets shot at, he can pass a cool test to escape hitting as well. He does also have a second familiar named Snarl. That character's got Omen of Fortune, Precognition, Catfall, and Clamber. And the reason why he's got that is so that way if anybody tries to shoot at him, hopefully he can ignore being shot at by passing a willpower test, and they can return fire real quick with this heavy stubber as well. And that makes it the very first champion in this gang. The second champion is Rai Black. He is a hybrid Acolyte. He's got a hazard suit as well as a grenade launcher with frag and crack grenades. He's got an Autopistol for a backup weapon as well as photo goggles to see in all visibility conditions, and he also has the Overwatch skill, so that way he can interrupt enemy activations with a grenade launcher, which is always kind of fun to have as well. And he also has a second familiar named Mimic, who's got the Omen of Fortune, Precognition, Catfall, as well as the Clamper skills as well. And the reason why he's got that little Mimic is because that way he can protect himself in case he gets shot at by his opponents. He can pass a willpower test, not worry about suffering any of the conditions from that. Now, normally in an Aranthian Succession, you can double the number of champions that you have in a gang. However, my sister decided not to do that because my friend Screamo the Emo decided he wanted to actually just spend more of his credits on his actual fighters instead. So because of that, he decided to stick with the normal number of champions for his gang. Case in point, this gang will have 2 Aberrants, Aeron Black as well as Isak Black. They're both equipped exactly the same. Both have hazard suits, so that way they're immune to Blaze as well as Radphage. They also have a 6 of armor save. They also have chain swords as well as shock whips, so that way they can parry close combat attacks, and also have a versatile attack with shock whips. And that's a deadly combination for these guys to have. They also have the unstoppable skill as base, so that way they can make it a little bit more survivable as well. These guys are an absolute wrecking ball unit. These guys will destroy anybody that stands in their way in close combat. So my friend Screamo the Emo was really super excited to see how these guys perform on the tabletop. So the next big guy that we also have too is Vener Creel. Vener Creel is a neophyte hybrid who's also the gang specialist as well. Vener Creel's got a hazard suit for 6 armor save, as well as immunity to rad phage, as well as the blaze. He's got a long last, so that he's got a little bit longer and more powerful last gun. He's also got an Autopistol for a backup weapon, as well as photo goggles, so that way he can see in all visibility conditions. And he's also the gang specialist, so that way he can operate with special weaponry and also choose his own advancements as time goes on. The next two fighters are Michon as well as Master Desh. They're both equipped exactly the same. Michon and Master Desh both have hazard suits. They're both packing auto guns as well as auto pistols for backup weapons. They also have blasting charges for that beautiful 5-inch blast template, a strength 5 with 2 damage. And they also have photo goggles, that way they can see in all visibility conditions as well. These guys are more like the close assault kind of guys who are going to be coming in to support the aberrants when they take point. The last two neophyte hybrids for this gang are Cole Novak as well as Rouse the Red. They're both equipped exactly the same. Both have hazard suits, that way they have 6 of armor save, as well as bonuses for toxin and gas straight weapons. And at the same time, they're also immune to rad phage as well as to blaze condition too. They're both packing last guns as well as last pistols, as well as both packing photo goggles. Now, according to my friend Scream with Emo, his plan is to actually upgrade these guys with hotshot last packs as soon as possible, so that way their last guns are strength 4, which is a generally good idea in order to do that as well. And that pretty much makes up most of his bulk of his gang for this list so far. Next, we're going to talk about his brute. The very last member of his gang is a brute called the Nightmare That Stalks. It is a sump beast, so this is a massively huge and extremely expensive brute to have, but also really deadly in close combat as well. It's got ferocious jaws as well as multiple legs, that way it moves 2 inches faster as well. It's got a lashing tail, so that way it's got a good versatile tail attack. It's also got scaly hide for a 4-up armor save as well. It's got the Under Eye of Horror's ability. He decided to go with the fastest stat line with it, that way this thing moves 7 inches in total. It's got the Unstoppable skill as well as Fearsome skill, True Grit, and it also got the Clamber skill because it's multiple legs. So this thing's going to be able to crawl across the battlefield very quickly and also destroy anybody that gets in his way. Now, that's the reason why my friend doesn't have a lot of additional upgrades in his gang, because he used a large part of it in order to hire this Sump Beast. This guy's going to be taking the brunt of the attacks. It's also quite destructive as well. And at the same time, using a Patriarch miniature from Warhammer 40,000 for the Genestealer Cults just seemed like a natural thing to use to represent a Sump Beast in all things considered. So I'm really excited to see exactly how this thing performs the tabletop for my buddy Scream with the Emo. So there you guys have it. This is the Red Faction, which oddly enough is actually fighting on the side of Order for a campaign, which is kind of interesting as well. But I guess, desperate times calls for desperate measures. So having, guys like the Paladin Enforcers as well as House Caldor teaming up with Xenos, I guess what you got to do sometimes to make things happen. I think this gang's got a good balance of shooting as well as close quarters battle as well. I think they're going to do really well on the tabletop. I'm super excited to see how that Sump Beast performs on the tabletop and see how well it does as well. But that's going to be that for this list. If you have any suggestions or ideas for my buddy Scream with Emo how this game can develop, please put it down in the description box down below, so that way you might take your suggestions and actually help motivate his gang and also to transform it as the campaign develops. So that's good to do with those, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is valuable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good to do for this, you guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.